If you think gold and silver have been the best assets of the past 1 year, well, you're mistaken because you've not even looked at this other asset which has beaten the returns of both gold and silver and given almost double the return. Well, gold and silver over the past 1 year have given returns where their value have increased by over 50%. However, this asset, it has increased by 90%. And over the past 8 years, its price has increased by 125 times. Now, does it make sense for you to look at this asset and consider whether you should invest? Well, I am talking about Bitcoin and why people who are pro Bitcoin actually call it digital gold. Let's understand what is the similarity between Bitcoin and gold. Well, the biggest problem in economics for a lot of people is the fact that back in the 1970s, the US government decided to de-link its currency from the amount of gold reserves held by the country. After that, a lot of other countries followed suit, and practically every country in the world today can print as much money as they want, which is also a problem, and the reason why there is so much debt rising across countries around the world, and a number of countries in history keep falling prey to inflation. Which is why Bitcoin, through its very code, is limited to the extent that there cannot be more than 21 million Bitcoin in the world. And right now, what are central banks around the world doing? Well, they are moving away from the dollar reserves and trying to place their reserves in gold. Now, Deutsche Bank Research Institute has recently said that because central banks are going away from dollars and putting money into gold, they would also want to evaluate other assets where they should be parking some bit of their reserves, and they think Bitcoin is going to be that asset over the next 10 years. In fact, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, a lot of these largest banks around the world today have created an opportunity where they want their investors to invest in Bitcoin related funds. Now, I must clarify, I personally am not invested in any cryptocurrency, and personally, I don't invest in Bitcoin. But it's extremely important for you to understand this purely from an education perspective, because India has 12 crore crypto investors, which is possibly the largest number in the world for any country. And if you are planning on, diversifying your portfolio, maybe only for education, it may make sense for you to put in less than 2% of your portfolio in assets like Bitcoin purely for learning. Because if they give massive returns, it's amazing. However, if they go down to zero, well, your risk would be limited. A lot more in the description. Share it with someone who may need it.